Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here in the Forecast Center with another update on what we can expect here across the ArkLaTex weather-wise. Coming up tonight, we do have another small issue we'll have to keep an eye on. That is the potential for some fog across the area. And with temperatures below freezing again tonight, that could aggravate any slick spots that we have across the area. I'll show you that coming up in just a bit. Also coming up tonight, it's grain of salt night, as we might as well call it Grain of Salt Tuesday, as we are going to give you the latest from the EPS ensembles that will take us into the middle of March. And I'll show you whether or not we'll be above or below normal temperatures, how much rain we might see, and whether or not we'll see any more of the winter stuff that we really don't want anymore after this past weekend, right? Anyway, I'll have that coming up. And of course, in the short term, we are going to be looking at the warming trend continuing. I'll tell you how long that's going to last. Colder air will eventually return. I'll show you for how long. And then we warm up again. And looks like our next shot for some rain will be next week. I'll have the details on how much of that as well coming up. If you have a question or comment, feel free to ask away. If you just want to say hello, Todd, that's great too, as we usually like starting things off with our hello. So first on board tonight, as is tradition, is Brian. Hello there, Brian. Chris, hello. It was a pretty good day today, Chris. No issues driving to work, which is good. Lewis, hello. Aaron in Wright City, where are you, Aaron? I forget. You're in Wright City, aren't you? I think you are. Anyway, so too many people up there in McCurtain County. I get you and Brad mixed up. Maybe, anyway. Rusty, good evening. Betty, hello. Christopher in Mount Pleasant. I was glad too. Did a decent amount of melting here. The major thoroughfares are in pretty good shape, just wet. Obviously, we'll have to watch those in the morning because we probably will see some icing redevelop. Amanda, hello. Billy, and thank you for watching, Billy. You're quite welcome. I'm glad for most of us that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Obviously, it was really bad over the southern quarter of the ArkLaTex, and I'll show you the latest power outage numbers here in a second. Let's see. Jonathan, hello. Betty, and we should see some sun, Betty, pretty soon, so you'll be able to get outside. Tariq, hello. Crystal, greetings. And Flo, not much. What's going on your way? Anyway, let's. You can see the time lapse with the high clouds that we had across the area. Colorful sunset this evening in Shreveport, as well as in Marshall, as you'll see there here in a second. Also in Texarkana, a little bit of color showing up there. And these clouds probably will decrease across the area during the nighttime hours tonight. All right, so weather worry index 2 out of 10. Not really too much to be concerned about. We have to keep an eye on a disturbance next week, but we're not looking at anything as far as severe weather, nor are we looking at anything as far as wintry weather. Our biggest concern actually could be tonight, and there is the potential for some fog across the area. This is the very latest hourly update from the HRRR showing you where those areas could develop. They could happen pretty much anywhere. And if it does, and if you are out and about early tomorrow and you see some fog, it is probably freezing on everything that it touches. So be mindful of that, and could aggravate those already somewhat slick roads. Power outages, you can see they're all restored across the northern two-thirds of the area. Still have several thousand over the southern parts of the ArkLaTex, and these numbers have gone down quite a bit. You can see yesterday at this time, I believe we were between 50 and 60% here in Shelby County and DeSoto Parish. So again, the power crew is making good progress that we hope continues, and hopefully we'll be back on before too long tomorrow or even Thursday. So current weather pattern, we have again this northwesterly flow limiting the moisture. We do not have anything as far as rain across the ArkLaTex tonight. There is going to be another disturbance. You can see this lobe here. It's going to intensify, and this is going to rotate down into the lower Ohio Valley here, heading into the basically weekend. And as that happens, it's going to bring some colder air here that will starting to arrive on Thursday and Thursday night. Let's move ahead with the weather pattern here across at the surface for the next several days. This is the highs and lows with Futurecast underneath, and you're going to see an area of low pressure. Again, the high pressure over us tomorrow, it will move to the east of us, setting the stage for warmer temperatures. Tomorrow, close to 50. Thursday, mid-50s for daytime highs, as we should be pretty much done with the ice, except for shaded areas and those areas that drifted. I have a 2.5 foot drift of sleet in my back porch. It'll probably still be here in April. It's so big. Anyway, you can see heading into Thursday, there is going to be another front that's going to move into our area. Futurecast does show a little bit of rain associated with it, but I kind of doubt that we'll see much precipitation at all. Pretty much all other models are dry at this point. And you can see heading into Friday, we start off with some clouds. Notice relatively quiet across the rest of the country. That low in the panhandle of Florida does look like it's going to crank up along the east coast as it gets over the Gulf Stream, and very well could be a significant winter storm as it moves up the east coast here, heading into the weekend with that colder air getting mixed in. All right, so before we get into Futurecast, let's see. Oh, I thought that was true, Aaron. Brad's been showing up the last couple of nights, and for some reason that played a trick on my brain. Joseph, hello, and Falk. Kathy in Texarkana, hello. Jason in Queen City. Get ready for warmer temperatures, Jason. I've seen a couple of pictures some of you are up there has sent. You guys got quite a bit of ice up there based on the pictures I've seen. Christopher, those high clouds. No rain made to the ground. Exactly. We like that. We don't need any more of that stuff for a while. Got to get rid of the ice first. Although rain probably would help the ice go away, if you think about it. Mary, you're quite welcome, and thank you for watching. Christopher, no snow, and no more cold. I'm sorry, Brad. I heard about that, Crystal. Mine's, I got one that almost a foot by the garage door. It's made it challenging to get out and get in, for that matter. Anyway, let's take a look at Futurecast here, and you can see that tonight we will see the clouds decrease, and as that happens, temperatures will be dipping. Let me take a look at my weather station here that I have at home, and it is showing 33.3, dew point 30.9. So we're getting closer to saturation, and once that happens, we will see the potential for some fog with all this ice on the ground, and not much wind out there as well. Obviously, perfect conditions. One thing that's helping is the clouds, temperatures not dropping as quickly. Anyway, tomorrow we'll see plenty of sunshine over most of the area. You can see Futurecast still hinting at quite a few clouds over the northern sections of the ArkLaTex. Those clouds will begin to increase further to the south Wednesday night. And we might see some afternoon sunshine over East Texas and Northwest Louisiana that will combine with that south wind to warm us into the middle 50s. You can see the wind shift up towards Aaron's Way, up there in the northwestern sections of the area. Again, Futurecast does show a little bit of precipitation, but again, 100th at best, and most models don't show anything. You can see Friday we do begin with the clouds and a bit of a breeze out of the north, and those clouds probably will decrease some Friday, as we'll see temperatures not as warm, probably back into the 40s for highs on Friday. And you can see a partly cloudy sky Friday night, clearing out late, and Friday night is looking very cold. We could be back into the teens over much of the area Friday night. And then Saturday, the coldest day of the weekend, as we'll see highs in the low to middle 30s. Yeah, we're going to go from 55 Thursday to 35 maybe on Saturday, and then we start to warm up on Sunday, and we'll be back into the 50s by Monday. Let's take a look at the longer range pattern here, and you can see that upper level disturbance diving right there into the Ohio Valley. And notice the snow developing with the low pressure at the surface moving on the east side of that upper level low circulation. That is very quickly going to lift out, and the ridging will take its place. So that's the reason why we warm up very quickly to begin next week. And then we'll see a disturbance approach from the northwest that will have a little bit more moisture to work with the warmer air in place. So we'll squeeze out some rain from that one Tuesday night, Wednesday, could last into Thursday. And then you can see this big old ridge here that extends from the ArkLaTex on up into the Pacific Northwest. That is going to basically give us another pretty good warm-up. I wouldn't be shocked to see the 60 as soon as next Friday. That is definitely within the realm of possibility. So, again, some warmer air is on the way. All right, let's shift gears and talk rain. And you can see that 7-day outlook from the Weather Prediction Center showing 100th. So this may include something. I don't know where that's coming from. It could be Thursday's disturbance, but again, I don't really expect too much. And looking at the blended models, you can see it doesn't show anything for that first wave. This is all during the middle of next week. And these numbers have been kind of fluctuating here recently. At one point, it did show over 2 inches over the southwestern sections of the ArkLaTex. This latest run shows 1 to 1.5 inches over most of northwest Louisiana and deep east Texas down towards center. Rest of the ArkLaTex basically a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And there's good model agreement on the amounts here. You can see the majority of the models pretty clustered around that 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch area. The Canadian model is a bit more soggy, but nonetheless, any rain that we can get, we'll take. I know you're probably thinking, why do we need rain? We got 3 inches of ice on the ground. But last drought monitor Thursday, obviously I didn't have time to show it, still showed the level 2, level 3 drought over much of the ArkLaTex here. So, and even some level 4 up Aaron's Way there in McCurtain County. So we can use a little bit of moisture every now and then, as we'll be obviously that ice will be gone by then. And take you out even longer, 2 weeks here with the GFS, and it's showing a good inch and a half, pretty much the story from now through what that would be. Lost my track of the 10th of somewhere in the first week of February. I guess it would be the 9th, if my math is correct. Anyway, so that's what rain looks like, and let's talk temperatures, and then we'll get to grain of salt time. Deep grain of salt time, where we'll take you out 6 weeks. And you can see the European ensembles show the cool down this weekend. 20 Saturday morning, 34 Saturday afternoon. A quick warm up, maybe back to 60 by next Tuesday, if this is correct. And you can see the cool down because of the rain Wednesday into Thursday. And the European ensembles actually have highs in the middle 60s as soon as Friday of next week, which would be very nice. The GFS ensemble's not as generous on the warmth. You can see 57 Thursday, which is actually warmer than what I have, but the cool down, notice second half of the period, all days in the 50s and all days pretty much below normal. So the GFS ensembles have been running a bit cooler than the European here recently, but the key here is that we have minus Friday night, no real threat at teens, and no 80s, so nothing really too out of the ordinary is coming up, and that will set the stage for grain of salt time here when we take you out long way. Before I do that, let's take a look at the comments here. Let's see. Jason says, yes, we did. Gary Norm is here. A nice 75 there in Palm Springs. We're getting there, Gary, after all the issues with the snow and ice that we had. Still have quite a few power outages over the southern part of our area, but they are slowly getting those restored. Brad says, I'm here. The other Wright City, the other WCOK twin is here. Betty says that 60s, it sounds nice. I guess that's what she's referring to. We'll see once it develops, Christopher. It's just a possibility. Once we see that, there's no sign of that happening as of yet. Brad says currently 29.6 there in Wright City. Hello there, Lee. That's the hope, Christopher. We're a bit more moist in terms of, we're not as bad as far as the drought, I don't think, as we were going at this time leading up to that summer. So we'll see. Eric says now 32 west of the ArkLaTex there in Colbert, Oklahoma, and he wants the snow to melt before the weekend, as we all do. All right, let's talk long range here. Super grain of salt time, and this is a look at the 45-day outlook from the EPS ensembles that came out yesterday afternoon. I put the numbers and made the graphics yesterday. And again, the first category is rainfall. Typically, during this time frame from now through March 12th, we get almost 7 inches of rain in Shreveport. And you can see it looks like we're going to be a couple of inches short of that, over 2.5 in some spots. So below normal rainfall will continue if this is correct. All right. So again, this is all averages. So obviously there will be some spots that may get 7 inches, some spots that may get 3. But nonetheless, that's what it looks like here, a couple of inches below normal. Snowfall, will we see any more? I would pay attention to the second line in terms of the percentages, because the chance of any snow, well, yeah, sure. It's, we're still going through February. February is recently when we get snow, that's when it happens. So you would kind of expect to see a relatively high percentage there. But what about the chances of getting at least 2 inches? And again, how I do this is there are 50 members that make up this set of ensembles. It's kind of like asking 50 people their opinion on something. They give you those opinions. And so I ask the question of these members, how many of you think we're going to get 2 inches total during this 45-day period? The percentages you see are the percentages of those who said yes. So you can see they're kind of low here. So it's kind of doubtful we'll see anything of the magnitude that we have experienced this past weekend, which of course I'm sure all of you are pleased with that possible outcome. Let's switch to the temperatures here. And again, last week I started, or at least the last time I did this, I started to, instead of just showing you, quantity above or below normal, I decided to look up the temperatures and actually give you the average high that it is showing. Notice, this is Shreveport, the average lows. I'm going to do it for Shreveport and Texarkana. Shreveport, average low, the week leading up to February 5th, 28. And you can see how we warm up heading deeper into February. Notice that on February 12th, 40 is normal, but on March 5th, 45 is normal. So that kind of shows you we're going to start warming up more quickly as we move through February and into March. And that last week there, ending March 12th, the average low will be 46, which is 1 degree below normal. So yeah, it looks pretty normal actually, minus the upcoming week that we have ahead of us. So as far as the average highs for Shreveport here, again, the average high for that week, 55, which given what we've just gone through sounds pretty nice, but it gets better. It's low 60s for the rest of the period. But notice towards the end of the period, mid to upper 60s is normal by the time we get into March, and we'll be pretty close to that during that time frame. So again, for Shreveport, it looks like kind of chilly here for this first week, and then the next 5 will be near or slightly below normal. And the same applies for Texarkana. It looks like the same degree of disparity between what we expect to see and what is normal. And you can see the 28 for the average low in the upcoming week and how that warms up moving into February. And by the time we get to the end of February, average lows will be in the 40s, which is pretty normal. And average highs looks like we won't average in the 60s in Texarkana until we get deeper into the month of February. Again, this is just one set of ensembles, just a shot in the dark, so to speak. It actually did pretty well through most of January. The last time I showed this, it really didn't shed any light on any Ice-Mageddon or anything like that. So obviously these things do tend to miss some stuff. But it kind of gives you a sense of the trends, the pattern that we might be experiencing. Well, 8:49, that's pretty much everything I had. Let's take a look at the rest of the comments here. Christopher. Oh, we don't want any more of those, Christopher. It seems like we just had one come true this past weekend. Okay, well, good. So I wasn't far off, like calling you the WCOK twins. Oh, my brain, it's almost gone. All right, let's take a look at the forecast for tonight. And you can see that we are looking at another cold night, although not as cold as last night. And by the way, I mentioned last night that some of the high-res models were keeping us in the 20s for lows. The low in Shreveport was actually 17. So it wasn't quite as cold as projected, which is surprising given the ice that we have on the ground. And today, the clouds kind of ruined the ascent into the 40s. My station did make it to, I think, 42 this afternoon. But nonetheless, tonight, partly cloudy. Again, that possibility for freezing fog. Again, another warning about travel. If you do have to go back to work tomorrow in the morning, anything liquid right now is going to be frozen by morning. We do still have quite a bit of water on the streets, at least here in Shreveport. So keep that in mind. And of course, any freezing fog will freeze on anything. So, especially bridges and overpasses, they may have been worked on, dried out, but that fog will make them potentially slick. So keep that in mind. Tomorrow we should warm up fairly quickly, up to 50 for the high in Shreveport, 45 in Texarkana, 48 in Marshall, 51 degrees for the daytime high in Natchitoches. And your 10-day forecast shows that we are going to be looking at the warm-up through Thursday. I'm not expecting at this point much rain, and you can see the cool down behind that front. Touch on the breezy side Friday and Saturday. High Saturday 35 after 22 in the morning. Much of the area will dip into the teens Saturday morning. And then we try to get warmed up again. 50s, mid-50s actually, Monday and Tuesday. Got some rain Tuesday night and Wednesday of next week. Right now, no worry about thunderstorms. When you can see the temperatures, no worry about winter stuff. After that, we warm up again with highs flirting with 60. I expect 60s to return by the time we get to next weekend. So that will pretty much do it for me tonight. Oh, Gary is here. I forgot about Gary. So Gary's here. Before I go, let me look up his numbers. He's been waiting. I am assuming Gary is still here, so I'm going to look up his numbers very quickly. Gary, we call Gary Norm. He's the Norm. You know Norm from Cheers? When Gary walks in, we all say, Norm. That's why I scream Norm, in case you're just watching. Anyway, let's take a look at Gary's numbers, give him a sense on what he can expect if this website will load fast enough for me. PSP, and let's do rain first. All goose eggs, Gary. No rain for Gary. And that's not shocking in Palm Springs, California. And it looks like you're going to be settling into the upper 70s, low 80s for the next 2 weeks. Might cool down a bit the last day into the 70s. Nighttime lows pretty much in the low to middle 50s. Persistence rules in Palm Springs for Gary. All right, let's one more look at the comments, and that's it. So that will do it for me tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in. As always, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I will not be here tomorrow or Thursday. I'm taking a couple days off. I will be back next Monday with another live look on what to expect, and hopefully we have more sixes as the first digit of the highs in the next 10-day forecast that you see. I think that's the plan. Until then, have a great Wednesday. Get outside and enjoy that sunshine and the warmer temperatures that are on the way. Good night.